this is Liz. Welcome to my little urban homestead and welcome to Tipsy Tuesday. The first time, as I do with any beginning series I start, I basically talk you through the basics, and that's all it's going to be tonight. Well, today. So, cheers. Right, one of the first things you'll need is if you're going from scratch with fruit, you need some sort of fermentation bin. Now you can spend money on a fermentation bin with marks on it of, you know, how much is in there liquid wise. I just think that's an expense that's not necessary. These buckets, they're food saver, so they're food grade, so they're fine for the wine. These are like £3 from supermarkets. So I've got a bunch of them that I use for different things. And I'm in love with these buckets. So you would start your wine off in a bucket. Now you can test it at first when you've added your sugar and that to it before it started fermenting. You can test it with what's called a glass hydrometer. Well, hydrometer anyway. And I'll show you. I don't know if it'll make out the scales on it and that. But basically, you can take a measurement of what it's like before it starts fermenting, and then when it's finished fermenting, and that will give you an idea of what percentage it actually is. I've got this, and as you can tell by the box, it's rather old. I've had it some years. I don't use this anymore. I used to, but the wine I make, if it brews out strong, it brews out strong. If it brews out weak, not as strong and potent, then fine, fair enough. So I don't use that hydrometer. Now, you might already have one of these, a large funnel. I've got a couple of them. But a large funnel is very handy for when you're pouring it from the bucket into the demijohn. Likewise, a measuring jug to actually take it from one to another. Or you can, when you're adding your water to it to get it up to the right amount of liquid, it's a measuring jug. It tells you how much you can use. And another thing that you'll have in your kitchen probably is a fine mesh sieve. Now, I've found that plastic is better than metal with wine. Just my preference, I think, but I found plastic is better than metal. So that would go in your demijohn. Your jug goes in your bucket, and you can serve it in, not a problem, when it's finished its first fermentation in the bucket. Right, now we'll get on to what happens when it goes from the bucket. I've got a few demijohns here. This in the bottom of it is how I basically store my demijohns. Is when I've finished doing them, I put the sterilising solution in the jars and then just leave them. It's not going to mean that that jar is sterile for months on end, but why throw it away? So put it in a jar, sterilise it up. Well, clean it out anyway, because it left for quite a while. If you've got any moulds in the bottom of it can help get them out. That's a clear empty demijohn. This, same again, it's just got the sterilising fluid in, is one that is, well, as you can see, it's brown. It's better for red wines because daylight, sunlight can actually bleach the colour out of it. But you can get around that if you haven't, because I've only got one dark one. So to get around that, if I've got more than one red wine on the go, my normal one, just put a tea towel around it. Blocks out the daylight. Sorted. Now for cleaning out your demijohns, this, a bent scrubber, bottle brush, a bent bottle brush is very, very good because as you can see, it's the shape of the inside of the bottle, so you can put it inside and then really give it a good clean around. Now I've only rinsed this one out to show you what they do. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's gunk stuck to the inside of the demijohn. I think in America they call these carboys, and that gunk needs cleaning off. That's why you have your bent bottle brush, so you can do that. So that's your demijohn that you've cleaned, sterilised. Once the actual wine has gone in it, you need fermentation locks. It's a bung, which is the size of your demijohn carboy, that will fit in there nice and tight. And there are different styles of fermentation lock. This is one, and you just put some water in it, put the top on, put it in the hole that's in the bung, and then put it on. And that will stop any fruit flies and that getting in, or dust, debris, anything like that. And you keep it topped up. You can either use just normal water or water that you've used for sterilising things out. That's one type of lock, fermentation lock. I treated myself last year and bought some new ones, and this is how they came all tied together. But this is called a bubble one, and you can see better here on a demijohn. Yes, this is only 3/4 full. And basically sorted the wine out. There was quite a lot of it. I sorted the wine out, and that was all that was left in this one. Put it at the back of my cupboard, and I've only found it today. Yay! Right. But that shows you the bubbles, how they, because when it's fermenting in the bucket, it's all right. You're going in there once, twice a day, giving it a stir around. But in this, the bubbles need to escape. So they go up through the water and out into the air, so you don't get your demijohn exploding on you. Now when you come to bottle it, once it's finished and ready, which that one isn't, once you bottle it, it's handy to have a siphon hose. Now this one has got an end bit to it, so when you push it, it's solid there, you push it inside your demijohn, and it only goes to the bottom, and it means that all the gunk that's on the bottom of the demijohn doesn't go through the hose and into your bottle. And it's got a tap on it, so it makes it easier to start when you're filling the bottles. Bottles now. This is a wine bottle from basically a cheap bottle of wine that I bought the other week, and yes, I have drunk it. Not as nice as the homemade wine, but oh well. I didn't think I got any on the go anyway. But you can use these, and you can certainly use the screw caps on them. But same as with the demijohns, you need to sterilise these up first, bottle and cap. Now I've got a lot of these swing top bottles, so I use these. And there's no tops, no bottles, no nothing. Now if you wanted to, I have got here a hand corker, so that you can cork your bottles. So this is the wine bottle full of your wine and your corker. You put it in the top there, and then you rest that on the top of it. You put your plunger in the top, a mallet is better. Hold it there and then hammer it down, and the force of it will force the cork. Now it will come out. It will force the cork into there. If you use a cork method, you must store them on their side, because the cork needs to stay moist. This has got to be sterilised up as well, but the cork needs to be kept moist, and if you store a corked wine on its side, it will stay moist. Now you can get them green bottles that are for sparkling wines, and you can, like when I've done an elderflower wine, cork it with the plastic and then put the cage over the top of it to hold it down. But I have got rid of all those bottles, because last year when I did the elderflower wine, I had 2 of the green bottles explode on me, and so that basically means glass everywhere, and you've lost your wine basically. So all that time and effort, you've now got to spend more time and effort cleaning it all up. But I use these as well as the green bottles for me elderflower wine, and I didn't have one of these explode on me, so these will take the pressure that the green bottles won't. They're a good investment because the last years. Alright, another thing I like to do is, I've got these like luggage labels. I write on them what's in the demijohn and what I've done to it. So like this one, orange and elderflower. I didn't do a date on it, it's probably June last year. But orange and elderflower, and you can put down how much sugar you put in, whether you added tannin or anything like that, you can write it on there so you know in future if it goes right, what you added to it, and if it goes wrong, why it might have gone wrong. So that's for the utensils. I think at the moment, as you can see here, I've got an array of different jars in there. This is the steriliser and cleaner. Now, with me using it on other things as well, I buy a big container of it. It works out cheaper in the long run. Now, you can go to wine shops, including Wilko's, and they have got this cleaner and steriliser. Read the instructions and go buy them, because they're all different. Some say a couple of teaspoons per gallon, some say 4 teaspoons, so read what it says. Those are your sterilisers, so you can sterilise the thing up. Also, some you don't need to rinse them out after they've had their sterilising time. Sterilising time can differ depending on the make that you've got. So always read your instructions on that. Now, another thing that can help sort of sterilise the fruit is, that's how I see it anyway, is Camden tablets. But your yeast will not work with a Camden tablet. So you put it in and then you add your yeast a day later, because it will have dissipated enough for the yeast to take hold. But you don't need it in every recipe at all. Something you do need in every recipe is dried active yeast. Now, you can use a normal baking yeast, that'll work, but I prefer to buy the wine yeast, because the wine yeast is there to basically make and hold on to the alcohol. That's how I see it anyway. So I always buy the wine yeast. I don't buy those little sachets, because there's too much in one little sachet for one demijohn, and that's what I tend to go for, is just one demijohn. So I'm better off doing this and it won't go off on me. Now, to go with your yeast is yeast nutrient. I've got 2 here because one's nearly empty. And yeast nutrient basically gives the yeast a kickstart, and then it'll feed on the sugar that's in there, and when it feeds on the sugar it poos out alcohol. I think it's called ethanol, I'm not sure. Pectolase, you don't need it for every wine. Only wines where the fruit you're using is high in pectin. So anything that you don't need to add pectin to make a jam, such as plum jam, don't need to add pectin to it. It's got pectin in the fruit. That will go like frog spawn in your wine. Not nice. So you add pectolase as per manufacturer's instructions, and that will eliminate the pectolase, the pectin in the fruit. So you're alright then. So if you use a jam, whether it's your own or a bought one, they definitely need pectolase in it, because they are high in pectin. Any fruits that are set need pectolase. Don't need it in every wine. Citric acid, you can buy little jars or you can buy a bigger one, whichever you want to do. I don't use it that much. I tend to use oranges or lemons. That's Camden tablets. And this stabiliser, which is basically very similar to wine finings. Wine finings will help to, any of the gunk that is suspended in it will help it to settle to the bottom. And a stabiliser does that as well. But I just leave them until they clear by themselves. Now, the majority of times it will clear by itself. So just leave it long enough and it'll sort itself out. Oh yes, one of the things that you can buy, little containers, is tanning. I don't bother buying tanning, just make up a cupful of strong tea, put that in, because tea contains tannin. And that's all you need. These are some of the things that you can use to make wines. I've got this large pumpkin that needs using up. Hopefully it's going to be alright on the inside. And if so, I'm going to make a wine out of it. Fruit juices. Don't use tomato juices. Apparently that's not very good for winemaking. But this is an apple. So I'm making apple wine. These flavoured teas. This one is lemon and ginger, very berry, makes a lovely red wine. So use them. You don't need to add tannin because that's already there. Spiced orange. There isn't many bags in that because I have made that before. Coffee. You can make coffee wine. I have done. Doesn't use much coffee and it's very nice. If you like coffee, and in particular you know them chocolates you can get that are coffee flavoured, it does taste a lot like that. I have made before a rice and raisin. Two things are in your kitchen. Jam is another thing you can use. I like making jams, but we're not very big jam eaters, so I do give some of it away. And in springtime, whatever jams I've got left in the house, I just make a wine out of all of them. Because like this plum jam is off my own trees, and I had off my own tree, and I added some sugar to it. And that's raspberry jam that I bought a load of raspberries for. And so I'll add something else to them. If I haven't got enough of just jam, and don't forget you need to add pectolase if you're doing a jam wine. If you've only got like these two jars for jam, you could, so they were both plum, you could do a plum and apple, or plum and orange, whatever. Mix the flavours up a bit. A friend of mine, past few years now, I've been making one batch in particular for him, and last year it was a garlic and chilli wine, which he thoroughly enjoyed, but said that he would have preferred it to be more chilli. So we went there the other day and he's given me 10 Scotch bonnets and a couple of other chilies, so I can make a batch. These were frozen. I can make a batch of chilli wine. Might bung a couple of bits of garlic in for him. But the seeds themselves, I'm going to save them, see if I can grow some Scotch bonnets, so I'll have them to make him another batch of wine. So he's given me 10 Scotch bonnets here, and they could basically keep him, well, having 6 bottles of wine off me a year until the year dot, because the seeds will keep reproducing. So I'll try them out. Anyway, But my first wine will be, yeah, I'm gonna have to do these because defrosted now, and my pumpkin needs using up, so I'll probably do the two. I might, yeah, I'll possibly do the two, have 2 buckets on the go. It's just not a problem. I've got no demijohns on the go at the moment. So cheers. I hope this video has helped you, and I will put up another one in a month's time, the making of the chili wine, because it needs a good few weeks in the bucket. So in a month's time I'll be able to show you the start off, putting it into the bucket, and then transferring that to the demijohn. And you never know, I might be able to get my first racking out of it. I doubt it, but you'll be able to see that, and I might do the pumpkin at the same time, so you've got 2 to watch. But thank you very much. Any questions at all, put them in the comments below.